Hey, what's up, everybody? Just wanted to make another video with the current news and updates on Team RGBA. Over the weekend, there was two fights in Carson, California, at the Dignity Health Sports Park. One was a win, one was a loss. Ruben Rodriguez from Indio suffered the first loss of his professional career. He was up against a fighter named Abner Martinez from Las Vegas, and in my opinion, Ruben was hurt at the end of the second round. He started the third round pretty good. He just got caught again with the power shot from Martinez, but Ruben didn't go down. He did get wobbled a little bit, and he was backed up into the corner against the ropes, and there was kind of like a natural separation between the two fighters. And then when it looked like Martinez was going to engage again, Ruben put his hands back up, but that's when the judge jumped in and separated the fighters and called the fight. So you can look up the video on YouTube if you want to look at it. Box Talk 101 is the creator of the video, but you can follow Ruben Rodriguez at Ruben NR underscore on Instagram if you want to follow him. He's from Indio, California. He's got a couple brothers that fight. Jacob, it sounds like, used to fight, and there's a possibility that his brother Manny Rodriguez might turn pro next year. The winner of Team RGBA over the weekend was Ray Muratalla from Fontana, California. He's 9-0 with 6 knockouts. I believe he fights at 140. He's been with Team RGBA, I think, since he was 5-0. I think he had his first fight with the team in January of this year at a Garcia promoted event. So look out for him. If you want to follow him on Instagram, he is at Ray underscore Muratalla1. He's a free agent. Alexis El Macizo Espino, 4-0, 2 knockouts. He's scheduled to fight this weekend at the Staples Center on the KSI Logan Paul pay-per-view. He is promoted by Eddie Hearn's Matchroom Boxing. He's trained by Team RGBA. He's middleweight. He's a middleweight out of Las Vegas, Nevada. He pro debuted this February in Tijuana. He fought in Rhode Island, Las Vegas, and he fought in Hermosillo, Mexico a couple months ago. If you want to follow him, he's at underscore Alexis Espino1. Also on this Saturday, Esquiva Falcao, 24-0. He will be fighting at the Chuck Chansey Park in Fresno, California. That's a card being put together by Rick Merizian and co-promoted with Top Rank. The main event is Jamel Herring, a veteran professional boxer. He was in the military, professional boxer. And then it sounds like Rick also has Gabe Flores Jr. on the card as well. So his opponent is Manny Woods. This picture is his last opponent for Esquiva Falcao. But like I mentioned, these fights are scheduled to be in Fresno. And Esquiva Falcao is an Olympian from Brazil. If you want to follow him, he's at Esquiva Falcao on Instagram. And then here's he posted something on Instagram about his fight being on November 9th. Stevie Hitman McKenna from the McKenna Brothers these two brothers just joined the team. They're promoted by Golden Boy Promotions. They joined the team very recently. He has a fight scheduled in Hawaiian Gardens. It sounds like the event is promoted by Roy Engelbrecht. If you want to follow him, he's at Stevie underscore McKenna. Alejandro Porkchop Guerrero, 10-0, 9 knockouts. He just recently signed on with Now Promotions and Cameron Duncan, so he'll be fighting more often, and he's gonna be kept busy. The fight is in Iowa, and if you want to follow him on Instagram, he's at porkchop underscore 214. So it sounds like he's going to be doing his training out of Irving, Texas, where he's from, and then fighting under the Now Promotions banner. Carlos Caballo Bronco Adames will be fighting November 30th. He is the current NABO and NABF 154 junior middleweight champion. His opponent is Patrick Tejada. If you want to follow him on Instagram, he's at Caballo Bronco on Instagram. He's a Top Rank promoted fighter. and that the bout is scheduled to be in Las Vegas. Also on the card is Louie Coria, 12-2-0. He is also a free agent, but he's fought on PBC cards. He's fought on Top Rank cards. So he is fighting 13-1 opponent by the last name of Lopez for the current, and it sounds like Lopez is the current NABF featherweight title holder. So if Louie can pull this win off, he will be the current NABF featherweight title holder. So good luck to Louie. If you want to follow him on Instagram, he's at KingLouie416. Lindolfo Delgado is in negotiations to schedule a fight in Nuevo León, Mexico for the WBC International title on November 30th. We don't have all the details, but he's 11-0, 11 knockouts. He's promoted by Richard Schaefer's Ringstar Sports, along with Misael Rodriguez, another Olympian from Chihuahua, Mexico. At Lindolfo Delgado on Instagram if you want to follow him. Vergil Ortiz Jr., 14-0, 14 knockouts. He is from Grand Prairie, Texas. He is trained by his father, and they trained out of the Gene Viveros boxing gym in Dallas. And then he also trained with Joel Diaz in Indio, California, before coming to Robert Garcia. I believe he was either 9-0 or 10-0 when he made the move to Riverside. So he's been with his dad his entire career. He's also had Hector Beltran as a trainer for the majority of his career as well. He just currently did a roundtable interview with Ellie and Bill and Fi and Sean Zittel from Fight Hype, where he gave a lot of he's kind of like a shy, so we don't really get a lot of information from him, but a good 15-16 minute video where he definitely just put it out there of where he stands in regards to the welterweight division and where he stands in regards to boxing. So if you want to look up that video, it's under Fight Hype on YouTube. So he's got a scheduled fight for December 13th at the Fantasy Springs Casino and Resort. His opponent has not been mentioned, but he does say that he does want to continue to fight harder and harder fighters. He does not want to fight any prospects. His last two fights, he had a journeyman in Mauricio Herrera, and he had a contender in Antonio Orozco. So we're about 6 weeks away. So hopefully in the next 6 weeks, Golden Boy Promotions can fight him a contender with a better standing in boxing than Antonio Orozco or Mauricio Herrera. So Vergil Ortiz, 14-0, 14 knockouts, fights out of Grand Prairie, Texas. At Vergil Ortiz on Instagram, and at Vergil Ortiz SR for his dad on Instagram as well. Mikey Garcia, 39-1, 30 knockouts. He is definitely eyeing the Manny Pacquiao fight for next year. Manny Pacquiao clearly will decide whether it's Mikey, whether it's Danny Garcia, whether it's Errol Spence, whoever he wants to line up. He holds the power in those decisions. So we'll see where that goes. If you want to follow him on Instagram, he's at Team Mikey Garcia. Abner Mares, 31-3-1, suffered a detached retina earlier this year. He was pretty much in the 7th or 8th week of camp in training against Gervonta Tank Davis. He had to pull out of the fight. He had surgery on his eye, and he has recovered from the detached retina, and he's been cleared to return to training. He is very active doing commentary on PBC on Fox. If you want to follow him on Instagram, he's at Abner Mares on Instagram. Josesito Lopez just got a huge win versus John Molina Jr. He improves to 37-8. He originally was a Thompson boxing promoted fighter from Riverside, California. He still resides in Riverside, California. For all the latest news on him, at Jose Lopez on Instagram. Jose Carlos Ramirez, 25-0, 17 knockouts. He holds 2 belts at the 140 division. There's talk about him returning early next year, February 2nd, with the possibility of his opponent being Victor Postol. So shout out to him for donating his trunks from his last fight against Maurice Hooker, where they raised $10,000 and donated it to the family of Maxim Mad Max Dadashev. If you want to follow him on Instagram, he's at JC Ramirez 2012. Erick DeLeon, 19-0. He has a 1 draw versus Andy Vences. He is in training. He said he sparred for the first time in a long time. So more news coming on him at Team DeLeon 1 if you want to follow him on Instagram. And he posted very recently, fight date soon to be announced. He is from Sabinas, Mexico, and then he also lives in Detroit, Michigan. Hector Tanajara from RGBA San Antonio. He is 18-0 with 5 knockouts. He is the current WBC youth champion at 135. He has been seen in the gym here in Riverside along with Joshua and along with Vergil. Clearly, Vergil has a December 13th fight date. Hopefully, Josh and Hector can land on that same date as well, as they're all promoted by Golden Boy Promotions. If you want to follow him on Instagram, he's at Hector_Tanajara. There you see him in a picture in Tijuana when he earned that belt, along with his dad, Hector Tanajara Sr. Jackson El Phoenix Marinez, 18-0, 5 knockouts. He, along with Caballo, are 2 Dominican Republican fighters promoted by Top Rank. He fights at super lightweight, fights at 140. There you see him in a picture with Stevie McKenna. For news on him, you can follow him at L_Phoenix on Instagram. Jonathan Thunder Navarro improved to 17-0 recently. He just had a fight in late October in the Fantasy Springs Casino in Indio. So he improved to 17-0 with 9 knockouts. His last training camp for this fight was not with Robert. He said he trained in Los Angeles with his father, and he has been seen in Leo Santa Cruz's gym as well. So the Maywood Boxing Gym is where he had a few posts on his Instagram that he was working out. So hopefully he can get back with the team. But all the luck to Jonathan Thunder Navarro, 17-0. If you want to follow him on Instagram, at Thunder Navarro. He's still claiming Team RGBA. And there he is with his La Angostura marker on his trunks. He's from Michoacán, Mexico. He got a second round knockout over his opponent. Carlos Licona, 15-1, 2 knockouts. He's announced that he's got a fight coming next year based on an IG post. At Mexicanito12, if you want to follow him on Instagram. He's one of my favorite fighters. He had a championship belt at 105 at minimum weight or straw weight, and then I think he's made the move back up to 108. So we'll see if he can land on a PBC promoted event. Joshua El Profesor Franco, 15-1-2. He is the current WBA International and NABF champion. Back in the gym in Riverside as of early October. So hopefully he, along with Hector, can land on that December 13th date. So at one Professor Franco, if you want to follow him on Instagram. Joseph Adorno improves to 14-0, 12 knockouts. He had a fight at the Temple University Licorica Center. So he's been with Team RGBA his entire career. He's been promoted by Top Rank. He fights at 135, if I'm not mistaken. I think he was fighting at 130. He might have made the move to 135 now. So undefeated, 14-0 at Real Joseph Adorno on Instagram if you want to follow him. John El Terrible Bauza was scheduled to fight that day on October 18th as well, but his fight was canceled. I don't have details on the cancellation. At Real John Bauza on Instagram if you want to follow him. Brandon Bulletproof Glanton improves to 11-0. He fought in Pennsylvania on a PBC promoted event on the Robert Easter Jr. versus Adrian Granado's card. So at Team Bulletproof, if you want to follow him on Instagram, I believe he fights at 175 light heavyweight. Jesse Bam Rodriguez, the only fighter to be promoted by Mr. Honda's Tekken Promotions. has not his last fight. I can't. His last fight was in July. Yeah, he fought in March on the Mikey undercard, and then he fought on his he headlined his own show near San Antonio in a city called Floresville. So on October 24th in India on a Golden Boy Promotions card, the WBO title for light flyweight was being held, and El Elwin Soto improved to 16-1 at beating Edward Hino. So I was just keeping an eye out on those titles because clearly Jesse Bam Rodriguez is one of the most talented fighters in the stable, and at 10-0, he's definitely working his way up there. At 210 Bam on Instagram if you want to follow him. Misael El Chino Rodriguez 10-0. He is the other Richard Schaefer Ringstar Sports promoted fighter with Lindolfo Delgado. He won his last fight on September 28th on the Errol Spence versus Sean Porter undercard. At Misael OTEE if you want to follow him on Instagram. He fights at 160. Genaro El Conde Gamez 9-1. He suffered his first loss this year against a 140-pound Luis Feliciano. Then he was scheduled to fight October 24th, but for some reason that fight date for him was canceled. I don't have any details on it, but you can follow him on Instagram at Genaro Gamez. Aaron the Silencer McKenna just fought in India on October 24th on Thursday Night Fights by Golden Boy Promotions. He improves to 9-0. He fights at 147. At Aaron MCK99 if you want to follow him on Instagram. Alfredo Escarcega suffered a draw on the September 6th show in San Bernardino held by Garcia Promotions. He fights out of Phoenix, Arizona, out of F1 Gym. He fights at 140. He was introduced to Team RGBA as a sparring opponent for Mikey, as Mikey prepared for the Southpaw in Errol Spence. At AE.JR if you want to follow him on Instagram. Aaron Morales, 8-0, 3 knockouts. He's been fighting a lot of PBC cards recently. He is from Oklahoma City. There you see him in a picture with Biggie from San Antonio. At Aaron_Morales if you want to follow him on Instagram. Isidro Ochoa. He is a fighter promoted by Top Rank. Suffered his first loss September 14th on the Tyson Fury undercard in Las Vegas. It sounds like the corner stopped the fight in the 6th round. So hopefully he makes a strong comeback. He's from the Central Valley RGBA. Robert Biggie Rodriguez there on the left improves to 6-0 with 3 knockouts. I believe he fights at 112, so he's a flyweight. He is scheduled to fight November 16th in San Antonio, Texas on a promoted card by Rick Marone. At BiggieJR_ if you want to follow him on Instagram. Brandon B-Fly Macias is 5-0 with 2 draws, 2 knockouts. He fought twice in the month of September, once in San Bernardino and once in Irving, Texas. At B_Fly301 if you want to follow him on Instagram. I believe he's a bantamweight. Ivan Garcia, 5-0, 5 knockouts from Paris, California. He's a bantamweight, was scheduled to make his U.S. pro debut. All his previous fights were in Mexico, so he was scheduled to do that September 6th. But unfortunately, I think it was his opponent that couldn't pass his medical examination, so that fight was canceled. At Ivan_Garcia if you want to follow him on Instagram. Brian Lua has been MIA. We have not heard any news on him. He's 5-0 with 2 knockouts. He's promoted by Top Rank. At Brian_Lua. He is from the Central Valley RGBA. Evan Sanchez, an affiliate of Central Valley RGBA as well, is scheduled to make his U.S. pro debut under the Golden Boy Promotions event at the Belasco Thursday Night Fights, November 14th, 2019. Him, along with IGO and along with Brian Lua, are Central Valley RGBA fighters. At Real Evan Sanchez on Instagram if you want to follow him. Jeremy Magic Hands Adorno, 3-0, had a spectacular third professional fight. Him and his brother really put on a show out there at Temple University in Pennsylvania on a card that was on ESPN, put on by Top Rank, but a lot of the behind the scenes was put on by Michelle Rosado, who's known as Raging Babe, and Russell Pelt. at Magic Hands _ Jeremy if you want to follow him on Instagram. Brandon Bam Bam Rios 35-5-1 has just opened his boxing academy in Oxnard, so you can follow. You can look up Bam Bam Boxing Academy on Instagram if you want to follow them. They're also on Twitter as well, at Brandon Rios 1 if you want to follow him on Instagram. For updates on Isaac Colunga, a professional fighter that is part of the team, for updates on him, you can follow his mom at Carrie Colunga on Instagram, Shelly _ Shell12, his aunt, or a good friend of the family, Dodger Girl 19. He is a fighter that was unfortunately the victim of a drive-by shooting in Riverside and was left paralyzed. So he went out and was in a rehabilitation hospital in Denver, Colorado, but it sounds like he's back home in either Rialto or the Riverside area. So prayers for Isaac Colunga. He was 3-0 when the accident happened, and he'll forever be part of Team RGBA, at Team _ Colunga if you want to follow him on Instagram. Here's a picture of some of the amateur fighters out of the amateur team. And then this year was the breakthrough year for Garcia Promotions. They had 3 shows in San Bernardino, and they had 3 shows in Dallas. So we'll see what next year holds for Garcia Promotions. The professional record currently is 74, 7 losses, 4 draws. The amateur record is 20-6. Although I haven't been able to keep a close eye on that amateur record as I'd like to. There's probably more wins in there. If you want news on all the current RGBA fighters, you can follow Robert at Garcia Boxing. You can follow Pita at Garcia _ Pita. You can follow another trainer, Chepe, at JA _ Contreras. There might be a 95 after that Contreras. You can follow Mikey at Team Mikey Garcia. You can follow Frank at Franktic _1. Ellie at Ellie Setback. Rainbow at TS by Rainbow. You can follow Vergil Sr. at Vergil SR. And hopefully I've given most of the links to the current fighters' Instagrams so that you can follow them individually as well. Please like and subscribe. My name is Sontel Media on YouTube. You can follow me on Twitter, and you can follow me on Instagram at Sontel _ Media. Thank you and have a good day.